Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Assessors meeting on November 12th. We're meeting in the Senior Center this evening, getting ready for a tax classification hearing. LCAT is videotaping our meetings, and we are not taping ourselves tonight, and no one else is watching our meeting. We will start off with a tax classification hearing information review. We have a package that's going to the town council, and we offer what our tax rate. No, we're not offering tax rate. It will offer information to the town council. They will determine if there will be a split tax rate or a single tax rate. Has everyone reviewed their information? Can we bring up what the tax rate may be?
You certainly can.
And we're looking at having a tax rate of 20.84 cents, an increase of 29 cents, which is not bad. Wilbraham went up 58 cents, so we're doing all right with that. And values went up for residential about 3%. Commercial went up a little bit, and condominiums went down a little bit, maybe like 1%. Diane, add anything to that?
No, we will just present this information. The residents or commercial chamber of commerce may have someone who would like to, share their thoughts. And
Okay.
hopefully they'll be able to make a decision this evening so we can move forward with submitting the tax recap.
Regarding whether the rate is split or not, the Board of Assessors does not make a vote on that matter. That is up to town council. And we have the recap documents. Everyone have one of these?
Yep. So everyone should have a copy, but there are certain pages that will need signatures. So I do have the originals. So I don't know if the board has any questions on any of the pages, but we know that the first 4 pages of the recap, page 4 is all of the votes that the town council did at all of their meetings that would have raised, appropriated, or used from other sources. Page 3 of the recap is the local receipts, which is projected by the town accountant, or also known as our municipal finance director. Page 2 is, and it always goes backwards. It's kind of like doing your income taxes. You always start at the end and you work towards the beginning. Page 2 gives you the overview of the cherry sheet, the local receipts, the free cash used, etc., which then all defaults onto page 1. So of the 4-page recap, the requirement is the Board of Assessors have to sign off on page 1 of the 4-page recap after they've reviewed the 4 pages. Does anyone have any questions regarding any of the 4 pages?
The amount of free cash is on here.
So the free cash was certified. We do not have a new free cash certification for FY20.
Okay.
Any free cash that was on the B is what was certified up through June 30th of the last fiscal year. And we may have been able to use appropriations in our budget up through June 30th if the town council had voted. And I do believe that there was some through free cash.
Okay.
Is cannabis something that's going to be on all of them?
Well, we don't have any
Right.
cannabis as of yet that's legal that I know of.
No. Okay.
Maryland's pocketbook might be different.
No.
Okay.
No. I just thought it was interesting that it was on there.
Well, there are a lot of communities who have entered into host agreements with facilities, whether it be medical or the recreational.
Yep.
And there is also anticipated tax revenue, kind of like the meals tax, where there's also a tax for cannabis. So
Okay, any questions? We gotta sign that first.
Yes, and because until you
One spot.
actually, yes, you'll see some lines. I draw the lines at the bottom because once you enter it into the recap, it creates lines, but if not, it's just a big blank section. So you then will see that you have 4 A2s. A2s are enterprise funds. That is nothing that you have to sign off on, but they are the water enterprise, the sewer enterprise, the stormwater enterprise, and I believe it's the LCAT. Is it the LCAT? Yep, the LCAT. That used to be a revolving fund, and now it is a enterprise. Now it's an enterprise fund. Once upon a time, you had to sign off on it.
Oh, you don't have to sign
But
anymore.
we no longer have to sign off. It's really the role of the municipal finance director. But because numbers in here actually defaulted onto page 2 and from page 4, I wanted you to be aware of it. You do not need to sign off on B1, which is the free cash. But again, the free cash defaults from here to page 2 and page 4. The OL1, which is the overlay worksheet, that is the total amount of overlay that we have still in reserve, and we have to review the last 5 years of abatement and exemptions granted, and it's recommended that we count on having at least that much, the average of that for the upcoming fiscal year. So I do need a sign off on this one. You'll see that on average we've done about $167,000 for exemptions, abatements, etc. And it also shows that we have some pending ATB liability, which we took into consideration anything that's outstanding at the present time. The next page is the DE1, and that is just the debt exclusion that the town continues to have, and those would be for the public safety radio updates, the library construction, the middle school, and the modulars. That's what our town treasurer takes care of. It's nothing that we have to sign off on. The levy limit sheet is how we kind of start off our presentation to the town council, and we always start with the FY19 levy limit, and we can add our 2.5% for any additional values as part of Prop 2.5, and we can add any new growth, and this form does need to be signed off on. So it brings us to our new levy, and then that debt exclusion, which we just discussed, that the treasurer signs off to come up with our maximum allowable levy that we could spend to meet the budgets for the town of East Long Meadow for FY20. And then the very last form that you will have to sign off on is the tax classification allocation. I will be asking you to sign off on the excess levy capacity. We're still going to be awaiting the town council to make their decision if we're going to have a factor of 1 or a split tax rate, and if they should choose to adopt a residential or a small commercial exemption. So you will see on this form, and I did draw 3 lines, that you are saying that you are aware that we have left $2,114,549 of excess levy capacity, which means we could have spent more, but the town tried to keep their below the levy capacity to the best of our ability.
Just one page.
Yes, that's just the overview of it. So now that I have the official signatures of the Board of Assessors, as we learned last year, the Department of Revenue does require the assessors to go into the gateway system and sign off on page 1 electronically of the recap and the LA5 that your Bill is just signing now. So I know sometimes because you only use it once a year, it can be a little confusing. And I'm hoping that the board members could stop in tomorrow and I can assist you to get that signed off if you should have any issues.
Okay, we will be in.
I will be in at 8. As soon as we have all the board members' signatures, we will then be submitting it on to the Department of Revenue, and usually within a day or two, they review all of our information to make sure that everything is meeting their criteria, and we should have a tax rate set.
Great. Anything else to add to that, anyone? Okay.
I would suggest we make a meeting date for our next meeting.
Yeah, December 3rd, we'll be meeting at 4:30 back at the town hall.
Perfect.
And I make a motion to adjourn from this location to reconvene with the town council in the media room for the tax classification hearing. The minutes from the town council meeting will become part of the Board of Assessors tax classification minutes. The Board of Assessors reserves the right to reconvene until there is no longer a quorum. We take a roll call vote. Bill Johnson,
Yes.
Marilyn Gadini,
Yes.
Marty Grudgeon, yes.